Chapter 5. Dissertation Guidelines. Summary. Begin with a very brief summary of the problem addressed, and the main results of your research indicate whether or not the hypotheses were supported. Conclusions. The results should be interpreted in light of the full set of results, the applicable literature, the theoretical foundation or conceptual framework used, and the limitations of the study and literature. What do the results mean and what do they not mean? What are the possible causes of the results? What are the possible consequences of the results? Conclusions are generalizations that tie back to the existing literature. The conclusions may be about the problem that was addressed or about theory, conceptual frameworks, policy, practice, or research. Conclusions indicate what is now known when your results and the prior literature are considered together. For each conclusion, you should briefly cite the results and literature that support it either before stating the conclusion or after stating it. Double-check each conclusion. While some of your results may support a given conclusion, some of your other results may actually contradict it. If the literature reports results similar to yours from studies with different populations or settings, that can be a basis for cautious generalization beyond your population and setting. If there are no other studies similar to yours, or the other studies' results contradict yours, be careful not to overgeneralize your results. Conclusions may be included in the interpretation section or a separate following section. When addressing these questions, it is useful to distinguish what was learned with reasonable assurance, what was suggested only tentatively, and what was not learned. When the evidence is overwhelming, make your statements authoritatively.
When the evidence is only suggestive, add caveats to your statements such as: the results suggest. It appears. It could be that informed speculations are appropriate and useful in the interpretations, as long as you signal the reader that you are speculating. Interpretation. The interpretation of statistically significant and large results is usually straightforward. Interpretation of statistically significant and small results is often bungled by doctoral students and even sometimes by mature scholars. Statistical significance only means that some association or difference probably, with a small chance of error, exists in the population, not that it is important. Statistically significant small associations or differences may be of little or no use for organizational or programmatic purposes. On the other hand, if an expensive program or structure has provided little improvement, it may be important to know this so that efforts are made to improve the program or structure, or to redirect the resources to better uses. Finally, the failure to find statistically significant results may be due to low power, and may hide a real association or difference in the population. While statistical significance is rarely tested in qualitative research, the underlying principles expressed in the above paragraph are applicable. It is important to assess the magnitude of the results. Small results may be useful for refining theory or informing management, but they should not be touted as means of making large improvements in practice. Recommendations are suggestions for action that are based upon the results and the applicable literature, with consideration for the limitations of both. The implications can be for modifications or new initiatives in theory, practice, and policy. They can also be for future research, new problems that have become apparent, new research questions raised by the results, and conceptual frameworks and methodologies that seem to hold promise or should be avoided in the future. When formulating implications, try to anticipate implementation difficulties and unintended negative consequences. There always can be multiple implications for a given purpose, and the first implication that you generate may not be the best one. The tone of implication can range from tentative to advisory to exhortative, although the latter is inadvisable in dissertations, because they are considered the work of neophyte scholars.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe.